Luella and Benito, if you could please join me here, I appreciate it. Whoever shows up are the right people. Okay, so just before I begin formally here, just so for the sake of the two journalists who are here, if other people show up, that's great. But what we're going to present today, has gone off by email to all the various media outlets that I've notified of the meeting around the North Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, and Sudbury. Also, a couple outlets in Toronto, and Catholic media across the country. As well, at 10:20, every bishop in the country will receive this as well by email. And as well as who else? As well as the Papal Nuncio and Cardinal Piacenza from the Congregation of the Clergy. They're all going to receive this by 10:20. I've got it set up so it automatically goes out there. Okay. So let's begin. Have you got me going?
Yeah.
All right. Very good. So welcome this morning. My name is Philip Penna. I'm with the parish of Corpus Christi. With me are Benito Zimbalati from St. Rita's Parish and Noël Lefebvre from Paroisse des Saints-Anges. And I want to thank everyone for coming here. Recently, Bishop Jean-Louis Plouffe issued decrees of suppression of our parishes. Many people assume that because our parishes have been closed, that our parochial churches are lost to the Roman Catholic community in North Bay. We are here today to say that this is not so, and to demand an immediate reopening of our churches to the faithful of the Diocese of Sault Ste. Marie. There is a difference between closing a parish and closing a church. The Code of Canon Law, the law that governs the church, states, I quote, "A parish is a certain community of Christ's faithful, stably established within a particular church, that is, a diocese, whose pastoral care, under the authority of the diocesan bishop, is entrusted to a parish priest as its proper pastor." That's Canon 515.1. In other words, a parish is a portion of the whole diocesan community. By decree, Bishop Plouffe, who alone has the right to establish, suppress, or alter parishes in our diocese, has chosen to bring the life of our parish communities to an end. The churches in which our parish communities gathered are of a different category. Again, the Code of Canon Law states, and I quote, "The term church is understood to be a sacred building designated for divine worship, to which the faithful have the right of entry for the exercise, especially the public exercise of divine worship," that is, the celebration of the Mass. There is nothing in Bishop Plouffe's decrees which suppress our parishes that alters this reality of our three churches. The decrees are silent on the matter of the churches themselves, and they therefore remain sacred buildings, and church law forbids the sale of sacred items. In order for Bishop Plouffe to legitimately sell our churches, which he intends to do, he must first deconsecrate them. In the language of canon law, he must issue decrees relegating them to profane but not sordid use. That's Canon 122.2. Though the bishop's power to suppress a parish is, for all practical purposes, absolute, the same does not hold true for his power to relegate a church to profane but not sordid use. Church law allows for such relegation for only two reasons. One, if a church cannot be used in any way for divine worship and there is no possibility of repairing it, the diocesan bishop can relegate it to profane but not sordid use. That's Canon 1222.1. This cannot be said of the three churches in question. So Bishop Plouffe cannot issue a decree on this basis. The second reason, and again I'm quoting from Canon Law 1222.2, where other grave causes suggest that a church no longer be used for divine worship, the diocesan bishop, after having heard the council of priests, can relegate it to profane but not sordid use, with the consent of those who legitimately claim rights for themselves in the church, and provided that the good of souls suffers no detriment thereby. What qualifies as a grave cause? Some serious sin or crime committed within the church itself, such as a murder, a suicide, or some other act of violence. Again, this cannot be said of the three churches in question. So Bishop Plouffe cannot issue a decree on this basis. Furthermore, claiming that there are not enough priests in the diocese to serve the faithful is not a grave cause. I'll just take a minute from my text for a second and say, I have recently, just this morning, received a copy of a decree about this. And it's very clear that the lack of clergy is not a consideration on this matter, because the canon law provides for other means of pastoral care for people in their churches. Finally, commercial considerations, that is, the monetary gain to be made through the sale of a church, is also not a grave cause. Let's take a break here for a minute.